Welcome to Winner Winner Beginner, where we teach you how to play PUBG. Today, we're going to be focusing on moving while you're on the ground in PUBG. So, as soon as you hit the ground in PUBG after landing, the first thing you're going to be doing is running through towns, potentially around them, to find loot so that you can defend yourself or find someone to fight in the game. Now, you'll be moving between buildings, often around obstacles or over them, to get yourself in a position to find the loot. So let's get into it. Alright, to start, let's look at the basic movement keys. Now, PUBG follows basic first-person shooter mechanics when it comes to movement, and often that's referred to as WASD. So let's break that down. To move forward, you press W, backwards you press S, strafing left is with the A key, and strafing to the right is with the D key. Now, you can also look in any direction by moving your mouse around, and it's the combination of the W, A, S, and D keys that allows you to go in any direction 360 degrees with the combination of your mouse. Now, your character will default to the standing position, but you also have some other movement options, including crouching and proning. So to crouch, you're actually going to go from the standing position and you're going to hit the C key. All of the basic movement functions apply while you're crouched. You can move in any direction, and you can use your mouse to look around. So while crouched, you still have the same options available to you that you do in any other position. Prone is actually the same way. While you're prone, you can move around in any direction, and you can use your mouse to adjust that as well. The major difference here is that the geographical terrain, as well as objects, will prevent you from being able to move in a number of different directions. And if a slope is too steep, it will cause you to stand up. Now, it's also worth noting from prone that you can actually go to the crouching position by hitting C, or you can stand straight up by pressing the spacebar. Speaking of the spacebar, if you're standing and you press the spacebar, this is going to cause your character to jump. You can also do this while moving around, and if you're standing next to an object or a barrier and you press the spacebar, it will cause you to vault up on that object. More commonly, this function is used to vault in and out of windows when you're going in and out of buildings to find loot. Now, if you happen to go through a window while you're vaulting, it is going to make a lot of noise, but don't worry, it's not going to hurt you at all. The next thing I want to show you about movement is probably the best way to get from point to point, which is the shift key, which when you hold down the shift key while you're moving around, it will cause your character to sprint. Now, the shift key can be used whether you're standing or crouched, and it will increase your default speed. You can also jump while you're sprinting, which will increase the distance of your jump. Most notably, when you're moving around faster, it will create more noise. So if you're walking or you're crouched and walking, you will make less noise than when you're holding the shift key and moving faster. The next function is actually walking. So if you're walking around at the normal speed and you want to slow that down further, you can actually hit the control key and hold that, and it will cause you to slow down. This also works in both the standing and crouching positions. So if you're standing and you walk, or you crouch and you walk, this will slow you down from the base movement speed. So now that you know the basics of movement, I want to go over a couple of key concepts that are really important to understand as it relates to movement in PUBG. Now, all of your character's movements are somewhat based on real physics. There are some things that aren't, such as you can run, jump, swim. All of these functions, as much as possible, you'll never get tired. It will always work the same way each time. But momentum is a very real thing. there is nothing that stops your character other than momentum. So the speed at which you're going when you try to perform certain tasks, like jumping up onto a rock or a ledge, is all affected by momentum. And your momentum when you're going down will actually cause a significant amount of damage to you if you're too high, as we just jumped off that rock to show you how momentum works there. So if you're too high up and you fall, you can absolutely hurt your character. Now, there's another piece of this that is common in some FPS games, but it is not in PUBG at all. And it's the concept of having barriers specifically to not let you fall off edges or objects. And it can be really confusing at first because there are some things that will restrict your movement that don't look like they should. But the number one thing to know is that most objects will let you fall or slide off, and it can be really damaging to your character depending where you're at. So remember, if you find yourself up on ledges or peaks or on the top of buildings, just know that you can hurt your character and it can be really dangerous out there. So stay safe. We'll see you on the next movement video where we cover some more advanced movement tactics and get you into how you can use these tactics and movement abilities to best your opponent on the battlefield. We'll see you out there.